Today is frickin' arm day. We're gonna go hit some buys, tries, shoulders. Maybe I'll throw in a bit of forearms. Who knows? We'll see how it's going. But the important question is, did you do your cardio today? Because I did mine. So I know there's a decent chunk of you watching this who did not complete their freaking cardio. And I just want to say, not freaking optimal. Not on. And do you know what you're doing right now? Are you do you have a plan? Are you actively pursuing getting the build you want, right? Like it's all easy to have this idea of, oh, I wish I could look better. But are you actually working to obtain that build, to actually get there? And if you're not, what are you doing, right? We're well into the second half of the year. Think back to whatever New Year's resolution you set yourself. Whether you're a lifter or not, it doesn't matter. Whether it's lifting related or not. Have you gotten into that? Have you done more than half a year's work towards that? Because if not, I think it's time to put the freaking gas on, right? It's time to push that pedal down and go full throttle and actually start working for this last half of the year, right? Think about how much you can do before Christmas. If you want to get shredded before Christmas, time to get shredded. We can do it together. It's day 3 of the official 12-week diet before I can put some freaking mass on. So we can, or if you're trying to bulk up and you've kind of just been letting it slip, maybe it's time to pick up the fork, right? And I think the gateway into that is really starting to track your macros, and in specific, track your protein. I would say tracking your protein is kind of like the gateway into tracking your macros and everything, right? Because the first thing you do when you're getting into this whole thing is you go, well, how much protein should I be eating? And then you track just that. And that number's about 1 gram per pound of body weight, something around that. So like 2 grams per kilo-ish. And that's of lean body mass. So obviously if you're a, 130 kilo guy, 400 pound guy, and obviously that person doesn't need 400 grams of protein, right? Because their lean body mass is a lot lower. But if you're a 160 pound dude, try and aim for 160 grams of protein. If you're like me, I'm doing about 200, 190 at the moment. Try and just hit it, right? And obviously, when you're first starting out, it doesn't matter as much. But what I would say is you only really want to be looking at protein from like dedicated protein sources. Not that all the little stuff doesn't add up, but for example, the 5 grams or 7 grams of protein you're getting from like a loaf of bread or oats. That kind of protein is what you'd call an incomplete protein. So basically it's lacking in some of the main amino acids that you actually need to put on muscle and recover. So whereas a complete protein from a dedicated protein source like whey, beef, eggs, etc., you all know what I'm talking about. That gives you like a full spectrum of amino acids. So you've got your leucine and all that you actually need to use to recover and put on some freaking contractile tissue. But doesn't matter. today's arms. We're gonna go hard as fuck. And yeah, arms and shoulders. Let's just get into it. All right, we're gonna do more of a alternating workout. So I'll do buys first and then something tricep. But let's just freaking throw some weight around. A bit heavy. Pro tip for this tricep machine, if you sit on it backwards, it's like way less chest and like all tricep. At least for me. You're probably different, but you go hard as fuck, bro. Alright, friggin' heads up, I forgot to charge the camera, so we might cut out before they do it. But if that happens, I don't know, I might film something on my phone. We'll see. Move this shit out of the way. You are in the way. Late night, come home, what's up? Come on. Now, if you're doing a fucking movement where you're doing one arm and then the other arm, or one side then the other side, my kind of philosophy, which you should start with, is like, do the weaker side first. Because if you notice with that last one, I got 10 reps on the right side, but the last one I had to do assisted. And that kind of sets the pace. Whereas I could get 10 reps on my left side, just slightly stronger for some reason, that is slightly stronger, and I got the 10 reps without the assisted. So in that kind of sense, I'm pushing my right bicep a little harder and kind of easing off a little bit on my left biceps. Hopefully they can catch up. But anyway, probably do 2 more here. Tricep. Let's do some push downs. Honestly, I've been getting a good kick out of the D handles lately. They're low-key unbelievably underrated. So if you want something in between, like a rope, because you get like the squeeze of a rope, but with something a bit more stable than like, because the rope's problem is your hands are sideways, so you don't get as good a grip. So it's kind of like a good in between of a bar and a rope, so heavily recommend. Oh, that's good. All right, this is probably the last set I'm gonna freaking film because camera's about to die, but we're gonna do 2 or 3 sets, cable curl, and then we'll do 8-ish sets of shoulders, mix of side delts and rear delts. And then I'll do some abs, and I'll see if I can film the pose down. Oh, this should be pretty good.
It's not bad.
Alright, let's actually get the fuck out of here. We are very late because I was a bit irresponsible, so the lift was a bit late. So, we get to get takeout. Now, the trick is, when you're dieting, right, it doesn't mean that you can't eat out ever and you have to cook every single one of your meals yourself. The trick is just to order the smart thing, right? Like basically with any meal nowadays, or kind of any product, you've got the higher calorie version and then kind of the smaller, or not even smaller, maybe a little less meaty, lower calorie version. Like the obvious example is soft drinks, soda. You've got your full sugar, and then you've got your no sugar. 0 calories versus 250 calories. Then obviously you've got like the cuts of meat. You can have a frickin' like a kangaroo mince or like a 96% ground beef versus a 80% ground beef if you don't strain it. Crazy different calories for a similar kind of thing, right? So, since I'm dieting and I am a responsible lifter, we are going to GYG, which is, if you're Australian, you know, probably peak for macros. If you're from the States, I don't know if you have that there or anywhere else, but I think it's kind of similar to Chipotle. It's probably similar to there, you know, Mexican stuff. You get a bowl, get some good friggin' stuff. But yeah, the lift overall, pretty good. I've charged the camera up a bit so we can talk about this. What did I do? I hit a few extra sets of shoulders after we were done filming, some extra biceps, and the pump was pretty freaking crazy.
What can I get for you?
Can I please get a spicy chicken bowl with
spicy chicken bowl,
extra chicken,
no
cheese,
extra chicken, no cheese,
and a Sprite Zero.
and a Sprite Zero. Was that a small or a large one?
Large.
Large. Anything else for today?
No, that's all good.